Welcome to another episode of the Wood Couture Podcast. Today we have a very unusual but fantastic edition. I'm here with my friend John Faik. John, welcome to the podcast.
How you doing? You good?
Wonderful. And for our friends back home and around the world, if people do not know who is John the Legend, he's an award-winning journalist, managerial director, editorial director of Hospitality Interiors. But above all, he's the guy that interviewed the celebrity of design, hospitality, and the entire ecosystem of the industry. Now we have it here in Dubai, in the Wood Couture Podcast studio, ready for us. So where is John came from? Where he all started?
Okay, where I started. So obviously, journalist background. I started with a tabloid newspaper when I was like 16, left school, called News of the World, owned by Rupert Murdoch. My editors were Piers Morgan, a number of different editors. So I was there for 17 years. So I am a true journalist in the background, tabloid journalist, worked on many stories, big team, obviously at News of the World, award-winning team, press award, it was a really big deal. So I was there for a number of years, worked on news, features, started doing some travel writing for them, on the odd bits as I was growing up with them. And then the phone hacking scandal was a big deal in the UK, and News of the World had to close down. Big story, over for a number of weeks, made all the big headlines, and I was made redundant. It was an amazing package. It was like a golden envelope which was handed to me, and I was like, yes, okay, I've got to take this. So I took the redundancy package, took a year out, which was good, but I enjoyed my travel writing side. So then I was headhunted by a publication, and I was thinking, do I carry on, take another year off, or let's go back? So I went back, and I was working on a publication called Hotel Spec. It was a great publication, very well respected. All the designers were in there. And then while I was there for about a year, I then said, do you know what, why don't we launch a bi-monthly publication? Well, I think it was going to be a quarterly publication called Space Magazine. So with the owners, we launched that publication, and straight away it just took off. It was doing so well. First year 4 issues, second year 6 issues. But what was different with this publication is I was getting to interview owners, CEOs. I saw the opening on that side of it, and with my journalistic background, I thought, right, let's get right in there, let's speak to them, find out what they're working on. And like my first interview was with Peter Bora, from Peninsula, so on that side, Shanghai, and it was like a big deal. And then Mr. Ascara from Melia Hotels, and then it just took off from there. So they all become close contacts to me. So of course then they would look at me, we're looking for a designer, what do you think? And then I could start advising on who was the right people to talk to. And then from there we started interviewing designers. So your Pierre Rochon, Alexander Champagne, all of these big names. They heard about the publication, and then they were knocking on my door saying, listen, we want to be featured. We want to be featured in your publication because we know owners are reading the magazine. So we'd done that for a number of years, and then I was headhunted to go to another publication. I left, I resigned, moved away, and then Hospitality Interiors, they come in for me. And since there, the magazine's now just leading the way. I can honestly can't believe say that. It's just doing so well. Everybody reads the magazine globally. You just got to go on my LinkedIn. You just got to go on Instagram and see that people are talking the publication. But the latest issue's just come out, which has got SLS Dubai on it. I don't know if you know anyone who done the furniture in there by chance.
Here we are.
So have a look at the front cover on that one. That's a good front cover. But obviously worked with Paul Bishop on that, as well as Accor, as well as now Ennismore, which is obviously the new Accor, on that side, on the lifestyle brand. So the magazine's just flying. And then we're trying, what else could we do? What else could we do? And because I'm very well connected, I was like, let's do a conference. So we launched Hospitality Leadership and Design Conference just before COVID. So it was January 2020. Super exclusive event, 120 guests. But people like Marcel Wanders from it, they flew in. The CEO of Celebrity Cruises from Miami, Lisa, she flew in as well. Kelly hopping on stage, big names who were involved. And it was a huge success. The designers were there, heads of design firms were there, people coming in from Paris, New York, everyone was in the room. So it was a huge success, and it was like, you know what, let's do this again. But then COVID hit, so everything just went quiet. So we just concentrated on the magazine, moving it up the level. And 2021, I think I've worked out, I've had 19 world exclusives just this year. And these are companies in the US as well who are reaching out to me. We want to give you our world exclusive. We want to do something with you. And of course, there is magazines in the US already, but they're knocking on my door, and I'm like, why not? Of course, I want the world exclusive. Let's do it. Robin Carter, on the previous issue, in this one here. I've also in this one we've done Resorts World Las Vegas. Again, a big US hotel. They're reaching out to me. They want to give me the coverage, which is great. And then the issue which has just come out, Dennis Irvin has just joined Richmond International. I announced it in September. They come to, we had a conversation. You was the first we wanted to let you know. So we did a big world exclusive, which was, big story on that side of it for Richmond International, their new direction on what they're working on. So that's in the next issue of the publication, which is now out. So, just having that network, having the people contact me and me working with them, and me now, what I'm doing as well is I'm introducing designers to owners. And, everyone's my best friend, if that makes sense. And I'll take the credit. There's about 3 or 4 different designers who have landed big jobs through the connection. It's up to them to sell themselves. But if I can make that connection and then step away and let them go with what they want to be doing, it works really well.
So let's show our friends at home that this is the Michelin guide of the hospitality interiors world. And 19, you just said 19 exclusive releases, worldwide, right in here. So the point of reference is here. The Bible of the industry is here. But my question to you is, I think is a very important question, is why do people give it to you?
Because I have the following. I have the following, on that side of it. If I post something up on my LinkedIn, I'll receive, 10,000 views just in that one day. And of course, the people who are following me, just for instance, on LinkedIn, are hotel owners, CEOs of brands. So of course, they want that exposure. Everybody wants that exposure. So it works really well for me, profile super high. I mean, we go back a few years, Nobu Ibiza Bay opened up, and Mr. De Niro, okay, they fly me out, and we go to Nobu Ibiza Bay. I'm expecting many journalists there. I go up to the penthouse. I asked the communications team, who else is coming? They said it's just myself and CNN, but CNN had a budget for a yacht. Obviously, I didn't have that budget. So up in the penthouse, Mr. De Niro turns up, Mia Tepia, who's the other owner, and obviously Chef Nobu. We're out on the balcony. We're having a conversation, and it just went from there. Like he said, I've been told you are somebody to be talking to in the industry. And I was like, okay, great. And he's like, Nobu Hospitality is really going to take off. They opened Marbella as recently. So, straight after that conversation. So I flew straight to Marbella to have a look at what they were doing there. And I work really closely with Nobu now on that side of it. They've just opened Barcelona, got many other properties. So, a big announcement, I think this weekend, they start Nobu Hotel in Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Big refurbishment, Rockwell. They're going to be working on that. So there's going to be a big refurbishment with them. It's just been announced. So, they understand hospitality, they understand design. Obviously, F&B is very important for them. So in the US, when my interview come out, it was a big deal. It was absolutely a big deal. And I think that's what's just raised my profile even more. So I speak at a number of events. People like AB Concept out of Hong Kong, I write for them in their publication. They do an Asseline book. I was involved with that. Marcel Wanders as well, who's a good friend. So I've just, got that network.
Do you feel trusted by the industry?
Do I feel trusted?
Yeah.
Yeah, people trust me.
So the secret of your magazine is because people trust you.
Yeah, 100%. They'll only, if things are off the record, they're off the record. But me being a journalist, I know that's how it works. Off the record is off the record. We had dinner last night.
Yeah.
How much of that was off the record? But yeah, so there's so much of that going on.
Yeah, it's interesting, and obviously you said clearly you hang out with Robert De Niro, Marcel Wander, Philip Stark.
Oh, yeah.
They're more coming. The more you talk, the more celebrity. The real deal. Within the hospitality industry and the interior design community. My question is, do you have a fascinating story? Or bizarre story?
Story-wise, what can I say? I went out to Vela Private Island. Okay, this is a great story about owners who understand luxury. was in Vela Private Islands having breakfast in the morning, and I looked up, the restaurant was on the beach, and I noticed a lot of the lights had gone a bit rusty, you know, because of the sea, you know, the salt and so on. So I mentioned to the guy, I said, oh, it's a bit of an eyesore looking at that, and they was like, I apologise. I said, no, you apologise, I'm just pointing it out. I went back, I come back for dinner, all 27 lights had been rubbed down and repainted. Okay, so that's luxury on that side of it, you know, okay, that's impressive. So that was quite a good story on that side of it, but you know, it just, wherever I am, I'm just with people all the time, you know, designers talking to me, you know, going for dinner. I was just in Salone, you know, one day in Salone, I'm with Stark, I'm with Marcel, I'm with Matteo Twin, and then Hesse from Campbell House, great studio, which is coming up, you know, catching up with these guys. And of course, people are like, oh my God, how do you know these? Can you introduce me? You know, so I try not to over-introduce unless there's a reason to introduce, you know, on that side of it. I'm not just going to start saying, oh, this is this guy, this is this guy. You know, got to respect these people. But trusted. I think trusted is always a good way to come back to.
It's, you know, again, I'm fascinated by your, you know, it is, yes, a printed media.
Yeah.
But also you have a very active social media,
Sure.
you know, with huge number. Last night you were showing me some posting, 15, 17, 18, 20,000, you know, hits for a single posting. So it's massive. And, but, you know, listening to you, you become really a platform to connect people. You know, you're connecting people everywhere. You know, it's not just editorial.
No.
You're a real dealer.
Network is key. Network is key all the time for everybody. Listen, this is how business works. You know, relationships. It's all about relationships at the end of the day. You could be the nicest guy in the world. You have that connection with an owner. Great. You know, the owner would take you on that journey with you. The owner becomes to trust you. Then you have the design firm as well. You have that relationship as a supplier to a designer. I mean, you know this already. It's just having that network, having that connection with people, and obviously being liked.
Last night we were talking, and how does it feel for people like you there, deep inside? You're under the skin of the industry. You're talking to everybody. And, you know, a year ago we had the terrible news of Wilson Associates that, you know, disappeared from planet Earth, you know, after 50 years of history. How does it make you feel?
I mean, listen, any studio, you know, closing is a very, very sad time for anybody. All the staff as well who work there, especially what was going on in the industry as we were about to go into COVID. You know, oh my God, sort of thing. But I mean, that was a funny old stuff. What had happened there? It's the owners. It was down to the owners at the end of the day. When we spoke about it last night, I got the exclusive. I knew about it, what was happening. I was told to hold it, do not publish it. And I said, listen, you know, we need to publish it, it's a big deal. But of course, they hadn't told, you know, everybody, not, you know, in-house. They didn't know. So I sat on it for a while. And then I basically got the all clear, you know, from them that the staff had been told. And I put it out there straight away, you know. It's like breaking a story, but it's not a nice story to break. It's not one that I'm really excited to break, sort of thing. So the story went out there, and honestly, that one day over 24,000 views on our website on this story. But what I needed to do, and I did do it, was I made a comment to everybody, if anybody's been affected by this, please reach out to me. And I had a number of designers or staff reach out to me, who I then introduced to different studios. And like on my LinkedIn, you know, they follow me and stuff like that. So I was really happy to do that, but it's not a nice story to be, you know, writing about or printing and so on. But it's done, you know. We've just lost RPW in London. You know, that studio's just gone as well. It's hard. You know, there's so many studios out there. Competition is high.
Most of these become your friends also.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. Yeah, I mean, Ariane, great lady, you know, great designer. You know, and we've kept in contact, and we will continue to keep in contact. And she'll have my full support whatever she plans to do.
What do you think is the most challenging aspect now of the design industry?
It's competition. How many studios are out there? Everybody's fighting over every region as well. So if you're a studio based in Dubai, you're not just working in Dubai, you're working globally. We go back to Yabu Pusherberg, based out of Toronto and New York, the offices. They've just finished 2 hotels in London, the Londoner and Pan Pacific. Obviously working with Woods Bagot and architecture as well on that side of it. So everybody is active everywhere. So competition is high. Competition is really high.
You recently organized a design talk at the Design Center in London, you know, and you had 3 legends: Mary Solomon from Bergman Interiors, you had Hamish from 1508
Hamish
London.
Brown, yeah.
And then you had Grace Leo, which
Yeah.
she has her own consultancy
Yeah.
firm.
Well, she got her own new hotel brand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fantastic topics. What was your main takeaways from that discussions?
Do you know, I think it was just coming down to, we was getting past, a lot of people have been busy through COVID, okay? I honestly think that when you say to someone, how's it been through COVID, people just feel, yeah, it's been hard. But, you know, our publication has been booming through these sort of like times, and a lot of studios have been busy as well. You know, owners are thinking, do you know, hotels are closed, let's quickly do a refurbishment. Problem is, I don't know what the budgets are really coming in at. But people are busy. That's what I've taken from it. Luxury is high, lifestyle is high. I mean, if you just look at London, Dorchester, about to go through a refurbishment. Claridge's 5 levels down, a basement. I mean, this is Claridge's on the cover, the new Mayfair Suites by Brian O'Sullivan. But they've got a 5-level basement, you know, that's coming out. It's going to be a new spa by Andre Fu. You know, Speakeasy, a cinema, that's coming on soon. The Berkeley Hotel, again with Maybourne, new rooftop pool is just launched there. So as I said, Dorchester, then we've got the St. Regis coming to London. So Rosewood, of course, Rosewood will be a big deal. And then of course we have the residences, Mandarin Oriental, which is coming up, owners Clivedale. So that's exciting, again, exciting times just for London. The Mondrian has just opened. It was the Curtain, refurbished, Goddard Little Fair.
Wow.
So it's buzzing. London's buzzing, but so is Paris. I mean, all these places now.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I flick through your magazine, I notice one thing. There is a good balance between designers, but also hotel operator, presidents of hotel company, with Simon from Four Seasons, you know,
yeah.
and the guy from Scott from president,
Resort World.
Resort World, and they really want to get involved in talking about the design.
Yeah.
Where does burning desire come from right now?
Well, I think, listen, design's important. You know this. Everyone will know this who follows this podcast. Everyone can have a hotel bed in there, you know, a bed to sleep in. That's not a problem. But it's everything else now. When we walk into a hotel lobby, you're wowed. Okay, you're sitting in there. You're in a restaurant. Who cares what the price is for the restaurant, for the meal? You're taking in the interiors. Last night we was at Four Seasons DIFC. Obviously Simon being the president. We met the GM. He sat with us. Very busy, good occupancy rates. Great to hear with what's going on in Dubai for Four Seasons. The restaurant, amazing food. But it's just sitting there, the ambience. Adam Tahani was the designer. You know, out of New York. Tahani design, great designer. So hotel brands are understanding the importance of hotel design. Yeah. It's key. It's key. You've just got to look at these places now.
Do you know, it's we interviewed recently, you know, I mean, fantastic interior designer, principal and MDs of global interior design firms, and I was shocked. They said that in the last 2 years, you know, they haven't had sustainability a part of the briefing from their client. Mm-hmm. Now, has the industry done enough to address this issue?
You know, sustainability that's a big topic. We spoke about it. We spoke about it at the event at Design Centre Chelsea Harbour. Sustainability, you know, we're talking about just in, you know, carriage of moving products around. You know, that can be sustainability now. You know, on the air miles, on where the storage and containers and stuff like that. So that's sustainability. There's a number of design firms I know who now have a sustainability department, you know, who are introducing that. But you've got to understand, they're only listening to what the supplier is telling them. If the supplier is telling them, yes, this is, you know, what we worked on and so on, they have to take that, they'll research it to an extent, and they'll go with that. It's a luxury. I don't know if owners really on the record, you know, let's say off the record, you know, do they really think about that? I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think it's because there is the kind of a bit of ignorance that, you know, hey, sustainability don't bring big bucks, like having a new bar concept of that, or is it?
It's possible. You know? Yeah, it's possible on that side. I mean, for instance, myself, when I'm staying in a hotel, luxury, mid-level, whatever it will be, if I've had a shower and I've got my towel, I'm not going to renew the towel straight away. You know, let's dry the towel, because obviously that's sustainable. You know, just keeping the levels down. When I leave the room, do I turn the lights off? Gone are the days when you take the key in and take the key out, lights power off and power the room. I make sure the lights are turned off. You know, so I'm doing my bit there. hotel owners are doing their bit, but you know, when you put a high price point on a room, does the guest, you know, really?
So it's basically we can help the planet by using common sense.
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so. I know when I travel with my children, if I end up leaving a light on, they're like, Dad, turn the light off. And I think that's now sort of what they've, you know, taken on at a younger age compared to where we all are.
I look back at the reports you publish about previous editions of the hospitality leadership and design conferences. You know, there was one in January 2020 that caught my eyes because they saying, hey, in an age of multi-purpose spaces and so on, you know, lobbies needs to become a greater focus than revenue generating areas, so they're referring to the rooms. So that statement, that quotes from the people that attended your conferences, you know, I mean, they're all very senior, made me think and say, okay, why is it? Who have neglected public areas?
Well, I don't think anyone's neglected public areas, but if you think about the public area, Edition London, perfect example. You'd walk into that lobby and the first thing you see is the bar. So you would see the bar before you see reception. And that was quite a first because you'd walk into a hotel, you'd have reception, and then you'd go through to the bar or to the restaurant. So lobbies are key. When I always ask when I interview people, you know, if you had a budget to spend, where would you spend it in your hotel? Would it be F&B? Would it be lobby, you know, public spaces? Would it be spa or rooms? I would say a high portion of the answers is your public spaces because they draw the people in. You know, and obviously now how many lobbies now are you checking in the lobby? You don't even have a check-in desk. You know, they sit you straight down in the lounge and you check in, or you're heading straight up to the room. So you're up there straight away. I mean, F&B being served, you know, how many lounges are there? You know, I've been at the one and only Ron Mirage earlier. You walk in, you're in the lounge straight away. So that is, you know, and that's money revenue. That's generating money revenue.
Imagine 6 months ago, everybody was, you know, still social distancing. And then we're talking about the best place to hang out is a public area, a bar, you know, an area. So, you know, do you think that the design industry got a bit scared or afraid at one point that, you know, public area may not disappear, but be restricted?
Lobbies are still, you go to the Pan Pacific, beautiful lobby. You know, you walk in, you go past checkout, you're sitting down, beautiful, you know, furniture and so on. Lovely ambience, you're sitting there. So I think lobby is key. You go again to the Londoner. I'm talking about a couple of hotels which have just opened. The Londoner, again, beautiful lounge area, the bar there, because they want the extra revenue from not just the hotel guests. You know, how many meetings do we have where we're going to hotels and we're in a lobby? You know, we're having a meeting in a lobby, it's in a lounge, we're having it could be a coffee, it could be a glass of wine, a glass of champagne. So it's generating revenue. And the big budget is spent there in that lobby.
Right.
You know, the budget is there.
Since you mentioned budget, is very interesting because there was another quote that actually Harry McKinley, a journalist and a consultant, he was one of the moderators,
he was one of the moderators, great guy.
And very interesting. I have to quote it because we can't miss even a word on this. Designer thinks the owner are difficult, right? First part of the statement. They are cost obsessed, risk adverse, and sometimes fail to see the commercial benefit of good design, right? So here there is this massive statement about owners that don't understand nothing, you know, meaning they are risk adverse and they only think about cost. Then you have, you know, again, one of your recent panelists in the design talk, Grace Leo, saying, hey, well, actually, it's the way you set up your relationship with, you know, your designer, and then, you know, if your interests are aligned. So, what do you think?
It comes back to trust. You know, there is many designers I know who have a relationship with an owner who will continue to use that designer because they trust that designer. Okay? Costs, budgets, you know, at the end of the day, a designer will be speccing what they can spec. If you're going to say this is the budget, great. The designer will ideally spec to that budget a little bit more. Okay, but the problem then is when the owner then decides, oh no, we're cutting back the budget. You know, you don't have that expense anymore, and then that's when the problems arise where not so much the arguments, but the back and forth. Because then the designer's got to come away and think, hang on a second, I spec this. Now we're changing our mind. We're now moving back out. But the owner needs to trust. The owner needs to trust the designer. Okay, the designer is employed by the owner. They need to trust them. You know, you're going to pay me to do your job. I'll do the job for you. But I think they need to start looking at their assets as well. The products that are going into that hotel. You know, God forbid if the hotelier needed to sell it, what's in there? You know, what's been the fit out of it, and so on. The design of it. It's all added value. Everything's value.
Most of the seasoned interior designer, when you ask them, can you truly design to budget? They say, well, it is mostly gut feeling. You know, how do you relate to that statement?
I was speaking at Decorex this week on Monday, and I had a great panel. I had Kelly Hoppen Interiors. I had Inga Moore from Userlab. Then we had Una Barak from Atelier and Holly Hallam for Design SLM. They were all talking about that, and we spoke about Instagram. Okay, about a designer. Are designers asked to design an Instagram moment? Okay, Kelly said no, never been asked to do that. But then when I asked the other panelists, they all said yes. So, budget, Instagrammable moment. If the owner wants it, the owner will get it on that side of it. So, it comes down to the budget. You know, the budget. The designer has to work to that budget. They have to work to that budget. If they want Lasvit, great. Do they have the budget for Lasvit? You know, these are the conversations which are going to have to be done at an early stage. Everybody would like to spec Lasvit.
How do you feel about value engineering?
Value engineering. It's budgets again. We're back to budgets again. That's what it comes down to. You know, the budget is set. The designer works on what they've got to work with. What do you think about value engineering? Let's ask you.
Once, I'm the one asking the question.
No. Let me ask you. What do you think about value engineering? Let's change. Let me get back to my role as a journalist.
I'm going to refer back to a quote from Carla Conte, which I interviewed recently, right? Brand creative, and you know, a lady that works with Fortune 100 companies worldwide, so she knows about branding and design, and she's saying design starts with education, and not only aesthetics, and I have to relate with that because for me. And what we apply in our business is engineering value. It's not value engineering. So we try to plan and think rather than react and cure. Yeah. So I'm going back exactly, probably answer the same way you answer. I mean, if you have a budget and you have a statement of vision, stick to that and stay within that parameters. But it comes with experience.
But yes, 100%. That's why when you are working on that budget, you don't go speccing a Lasvit because the budget's not in the budget. You have to work to the budget. But the problem always comes is when the owner starts to shrink the budget. Okay, I can tell you now, the Londoner hotel, over 600 million that hotel cost.
Right.
Okay, 600 million. And I was with the owner and I was like, wow, this budget was done pre-COVID. Okay, and they weren't going to cut the cost. It was done. So it happened. So I think you just need good owners. A good owner who understands design and doesn't just want to, get that room. I mean, we spoke about it last night. How many hotel owners unrealistically wanting their hotel to open when it's not ready? It's not ready. I was talking to Kelly Hoppen recently, and she's working on a hotel in Asia. The furniture is not there. Some of the stuff is not there yet, but the owner wants to open. How?
Well, that's another big burning question, for the next time.
Have you asked that question to any designers?
We did. We actually launched recently the Great Value Engineering Survey. So we went out to thousands, and we will share the result very soon. I say to our friends out there, stay tuned. It's coming out, and maybe in collaboration with our friend Jan, we will do that. You will see the answers. It'll be fantastic. I mean, surprising on one side, not surprising on the other, but revealing on to a certain extent. So. I want to touch upon another topic, which again, I repeat it. This is for me is the Michelin star, the Forbes list, the Bible of the industry. So when I flick through the magazine, I spend quite time reading and looking at pictures. And I see a lot of business, women in business. And I see our men like us. And on the topic of gender equality, how is the design industry doing, in your opinion?
I think very well. Perfect example is this week, Decorex in London. I'm on a panel with 4 leading ladies, who are superstar designers. So there is nothing to worry about, in my opinion. Yeah. You're talking about in Dubai, for instance. I know Pallavi very well, Christina. Doing unbelievably well, as well as many other designers. You've only got to look at it. I mean, just looking at the news at the front, many designers, heads of studios.
KSL Partners, also the new chief officer.
Yeah. She's come from Preferred Hotels. Yeah, she's there. So it's understood. But I don't think there's ever been I don't like to say it's ever been a problem, because I think I think it's a good thing, amazing thing. So, it's an amazing thing.
Are you content with the progress of the design industry?
100%.
What about
100%.
Hospitality?
As in CEOs of hotel brands?
Yeah.
Well, look at the Standard Hotel. I mean, Amber's just been made CEO for Standard.
Karen Shepherd, IHG.
IHG, yeah. She's doing unbelievably well as well.
Is there enough women out there in leadership positions?
Listen, you've got the Sonia Cheng, Rosewood. Okay, the Ong family from Como. We just done, in our next issue of the publication, it's 30 years of Como. So they contacted me and they said, listen, we'd love to do a 30-year celebration with your publication for your readers. So I say, yes, no problem. So it's the Ong family, a beautiful, 6-8 pages on that side of it. So, I mean, the CEO of Accor for Americas, Heather, female. So it's good. I don't think there's ever been, there's not a problem there, I don't think. I think, listen, you should be rewarded on how good you are at the end of the day. Of course. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can easily sit next to you and say, and shout aloud. Is 72% of organizations made by females. So, we are great advocates of, diversity and, gender equality.
I have 5 people in my team, 4 of them are female.
Wow.
The reason why they're female, it doesn't matter because they're female. The reason why they're doing that job is because they're very good at their job and they're the best at doing their job. No problem.
Yeah, Lorraine. Last night we were with Lorraine.
Yeah, exactly. Lorraine. She's brilliant. Yeah.
We're thinking about you, Lorraine. We haven't forgotten about you. So.
Yeah, no. So she's brilliant at her job. Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's in your bucket list? What's coming up?
Obviously, we're back out here December the 8th for Dubai. It's going absolutely crazy. Everybody wants to be there. The phone is continuously going. I mean, I just interviewed Melissa Mersmer from Red Sea Development. Great interview. And she put it out on her social media that she's going to be attending, speaking. My phone is going crazy. People want to be there because of the Saudi influence, as well as, it's going to be a great event. So that's at the Sofitel de Oblis, part of Accor. So they're December the 8th on that one-day conference. Amazing networking, amazing speakers. Amazing speakers.
It was interesting because last night I was trying to persuade you about adding one more destination to your calendar. Obviously you got Dubai, New York, LA, Singapore, and obviously London. And I said, Saudi Arabia. Yeah. What goes through your mind about Saudi
Arabia? Is Saudi Arabia ready? Is there enough designers based in Saudi? Of course, all your big firms are still Dubai, obviously London and everywhere else, of course, Paris, New York. I'm hearing more and more designers are moving to Saudi or opening up satellite offices in Saudi. Let's wait and see. I mean, Dubai, it's going to start slowing down in Dubai, in my opinion, but there'll be refurbishments. That's what's going to be coming in Dubai, is what I think. But Saudi, listen, everyone's talking about Saudi. Everyone wants to work in Saudi. My phone's continuously ringing about Saudi. What's going to be going on there? And so many giga projects which are out there. I've done some stuff with Jerry, obviously, who looks after Deary Gates on that side of it. So we'll see. I don't know if Saudi's ready though next year. You think they are, don't you? You think it's ready?
Absolutely, it's the place to be. It's
okay.
It's like anything. You need to add to the Michelin star.
Yeah.
List Saudi is young talent, very open and
It's been
world-class developments.
We talk about luxury travel and design. So Dubai Tourism have reached out. I'm working there supporting the Dubai event. So Dubai Tourism, because they understand now travel, design, it comes together. And also as well, I've got calls next week with Expo 2020 because they want to be involved in it as well, which is great. So, it shines a light on Dubai, what's going on, travel side of it. A number of designers have designed areas at Expo 2020. Sustainability is a big deal, obviously at Expo 2020 as well, on that side of it. So that all comes together really well. We'll see about Saudi. Do
you know what impressed me the most about your conference is that, and again, flicking through the magazine is impressive. This is, for the people at home, and around the world, I just want to show the A-lister of speakers that there is at these conferences. And but being involved as advisory board member of other conferences, the struggle was always to get the big guys and the big girls, the CEOs. At your conferences, there is only CEOs and that. Why do they love coming to your conferences?
I think they trust me. Listen, they trust me to showcase their brand, their studio, their products in the right lights with the right people on the leadership side. I had a company this week say, how do you get these people there? And I said, listen, they come because, first of all, they love me, they love the magazine, they want to work with me, I've supported them, they support me back, and they want exposure as well. It's really sort of like the competitive out there, the market. This week I was at SLS. You've got Gareth there, who's the co-CEO of Enesmore. He's come from Accor with Sharan. He's there. We had a drink together. We caught up. And then Chaddy as well from SBE, COO. We're having a conversation. And I said, listen, guys, I've got the conferences coming up in New York and London as well. They said, listen, we want to speak in London. I said, you sure? And they said, yes. I've got to speak to their people to make sure it's all confirmed. So they'll be speaking at our event. Alex Kravitz confirmed for London already. Therese Vaserius, she wants to speak. Robin Carter. We was having dinner yesterday and Robin Carter drops me an email like, Jan, can I speak in LA? Of course you can speak in LA.
Wow.
So, it's good. But it's got to be the right people who come to the conference as well. Active. They've got to be active. They've got to be specking on jobs and so on. And working.
I must admit that last night I challenged you to contact people, but celebrities, for people they don't know, without naming anybody.
Let's name. So for instance, we spoke about Saudi, and I said, listen, if I do an event in Saudi, what do you think? And you said to me, listen, if Marcel Wonders would, I'm like, wow. So we messaged Marcel Wonders. Within a minute, he replied, and he said yes. Minute. And he said yes.
Wow. I was like, wow, that's unbelievable. I personally never seen anyone that can reach out to big guys like this. So they are the leaders, the icons on an industry, and have a 10-second reply like you had last night. It's the Speedy Gonzalez.
Because they understand, again, the connections that we have.
No, it's unbelievable. Look, let
me give an example about Marcel Wonders. So I was in Amsterdam with Celebrity Cruises. Okay, they had a new ship in the dockyard, and I was the first journalist to go. And obviously, hospitality, cruises now across, it's all of it. So I've just been on a Celebrity Apex in the Greek islands. Kelly Hoppen designed. The suite was £46,000 for 1 week. Oof. Okay, it's on if you got my social media, Instagram, you'll see me having a walk around of the suite. Crazy. So I was by chance in Amsterdam with Celebrity Cruises. I was having a drink in the bar. Marcel by chance walks in. I introduced Marcel to the vice president of Celebrity Cruises. They have a conversation. Now they're talking.
Wow.
So Marcel understands that on that side of it.
That's incredible, it's I'm speechless, it's kind of difficult to ask you questions because the stories you throw out, boom, 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 it's like silver bullets every time. It's unbelievable. But final moments of our chat, unfortunately, I wish you could stay in Dubai forever.
Listen, how long was dinner last night? How long was our dinner?
Almost 6 hours.
6 hour dinner. 6 hour dinner. Crazy.
We can write a book about that. It was incredible. It was fantastic dinner. I loved it. And so you're coming back in December, right?
Yeah.
For the Dubai conference. And I'm going to put a massive white canvas on the top of Burj Khalifa. What message would you write on it?
Come to the conference.
You're
Contact
a businessman.
me. Contact me. Come to the conference. No, listen. You know, for design, if I was giving someone advice, no regrets. You know, no regrets. No does not exist, if that makes sense. You know, you keep pushing the boundaries on what you want to do. That's how I work with no regrets. Everything I do, if it's a no, you know, try again. Yeah, okay, and then we get the interview. Many people I've tried to get interviews with, and it's been like, no, you're not talking to these people. No one's getting to that level of person. You persevere, you get it. And then that's what's good about the publication. You get the interview. For instance, next issue, I have 75th anniversary with IHG. Okay, IHG come back and said, listen, let's do it. And I said, I wanted Keith Barr. I want the main people. Oh, we're not sure if we can do it. I said, listen, if it's not going to happen, I'm not doing it. It's now happening. You know, we're going to go for that level of people. So, because that's what the people, you know, the readers, the designers who are reading the publication, suppliers who are reading, they want to know what IHG are doing. You know, I had a call last week from Jean-Michel Gatti, okay, Denniston. Can I speak in Singapore? As if I'm going to say no. Of course he can speak in Singapore. Bill Bensley, yes, speaking in Singapore. You know, Accor heavily involved with it, Marriott heavily involved with it, Hilton. Will we go to New York, which I don't know what's going to happen? You know, we've got the brilliant Larry Traxler, Audrey Tuscasio. Though these are people, heads of Marriott and Hilton, who are going to be speaking. So what I want them to do is talk about what they're doing as brands, brand standards, what they're doing. The designers will listen, and then fingers crossed the designers will go and land their own projects. So that's not a bad thing.
Absolutely not. It's
and then suppliers will then land projects with the designers, and it works.
It's incredible. Again, it's I congratulate you.
Cheers, buddy.
I thank you. I admire you, and above all, thank you very much. It's,
there you go.
Look at that. Next picture is you on the Wood Couture Podcast. It's exclusively endorsed by the one and only John Faik. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
buddy.
buddy.
Appreciate it.
Honestly, thank you.